Hello, Autumn. Okay, so I can see why you're having trouble. I haven't dove into it at all, just sort of read in the stuff, but right away this node graph is giving me anxiety. It's with so many different elements going on at once, if it starts to look like a spider web, then you're just going to be working over yourself and it's going to get very confusing very quickly. So that's why I suggest focus working from the background to the foreground and focus on organizing the way everything connects. So that way, upon immediately looking at it, you can right away tell, oh, this flows into this flows into this. There's a nice back and forth. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go, I'm going to rearrange your layers so that it's the furthest back elements to the closest to us elements. So I see we have our background on the far right, which is cool. Well, I'll leave that. So next to the background, we would have our two background map elements. So these guys, I'll move over here. And then here's our fog. That should be the closest thing to us. Then we have our like beauty layers. So we've got the diffuse, we've got the occlusion, and we've got the lighting, and we've got the specular. So I'll work this way, but as I go through, I'm gonna show you how to reorganize this so that it doesn't immediately give you a heart attack every time you look at it. So I see that you've got your background here, you've put a glow on it, and then you're screening your diffuse over top of it, which does not make sense to me. I wouldn't. So what a screen does is it says that everything black we are going to use as an alpha. So I don't know why you would want to do that with this. It already has an alpha that works pretty well. So I wouldn't do that. Oh no, I see what you're doing. Okay, you've got this. Okay, I think you're trying to do something. I'm sure. I don't. Yeah. So the whole none of this is working. I'm gonna delete all of this. Okay. Cool. Now I can breathe again. Wonderful. Oh man. Yeah. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Treat it like a circuit board. This flows into this. Clean lines, and we don't have to worry about giving ourselves a heart attack. We'll use just simple merge nodes. We'll put this on top of that. Everyone's happy. So these diagonals, I don't like diagonals. Diagonals freak me out because if you get too many diagonals in a row, you get a spider web like what you had last time. So I'll just drag this glow down. Ah, we have an L shape. Now right away I can see this flows into that. Ah, feels nice. Ah, we don't have a node to do that over here, so what shall we do? If we hold down Control, we see these yellow dots pop up. If we click and drag on those, we get this handy little dot, and then we can make our own circuit board with that. Ah, feels nice. Okay, so it looks like on this, you've graded it, as is your prerogative, and you have screened that over that. Cool beans. And then I put just a merge node on top of that. Wonderful. So we've got these guys on those. I would question your grade. It looks like everything's really clamped, and you're losing some pixel values there, but you know what? That is not my job to say right now. We'll do that in critique, but you should totally do that. Okay, and then, so that's the background elements. So I'm just gonna put a backdrop on those, just to say like, this is a group, this is the background, I'm gonna move on. So my middle ground. See, immediately I know what all this does, and I don't have to be confused, and it's not turning into a spider web. And if I have to add more, then I can move things around. But as long as I keep everything flowing into each other, and the furthest point down is what I want to look at, I'm good, right? I don't have to worry about it. So we're just going to do really basic things here. So we've got our occlusion, we've got our diffuse. I'll put down a merge node. A is over, so the occlusion will be over the diffuse, and I want to keep these shadows, so I will multiply the dark spaces over the light spaces. Pow, right? So now we've got some form. Super cool. I always love doing that. It's just so satisfying to see a flat diffuse immediately take shape. Love it, love it, love it. I'll probably dial it back a bit because clamped shadows are the bane of every compositor's existence. Doop, doop, de doop. I went too far, just like in life. Okay, cool. 0.8, wonderful. And let's keep our flow going. So we've got this flowing into that. We can see that right away. We don't have to worry about it. Next, we've got our lighting pass. Keep in mind, you can use whatever overlays you want here. Let's try, so A over top of B. So right away, I can see this is flowing into that connection. I don't have to worry about it. So this guy, let's try something like, you can do an average. It gets a little, I don't really like how average works so much. It gets a little burny, a little burnt out there. I like using it as an overlay, but if you use it as an overlay, like it's way too far. You either need to dial it back in your merge node just to get that nice shadow and light fall off, or you can just use a grade node on that sucker and grade it to your heart's content, and now you are one-to-one grading the lights and the shadows in your scene. So if you want this sun to be, you want this sun to be green, boom, you've got a green sun. I don't know why you would want that, and you probably shouldn't do that, but hey, cool, for this example, that's what we did, and I'm gonna go with it. Bold artistic move, Autumn. Good call. All right, next up, we have, it looks like our specular highlights, and we want to get all these delightful little hits on in here. So we don't want all this this negative information, so I'll probably screen this. So A for over, and then we'll screen this right on top, operation screen, ka-chow, and we get all those nice little hits in there. It is beautiful, how nice. Okay, so we have our mid-ground, and that all flows into each other. It's very easy to read, very easily laid out. With all of it selected, I'll go ahead, I'll make another backdrop, pow. I've got all these guys. Now, I just have to merge the mid-ground over top of the background. So these two, so the mid-ground is on top of the background, A for over, boom. Now we do have some issues that you will have to go in and solve. Like we've got to get rid of this black line. That's nasty. So something is making that, and you can use an erode. You can grade the alpha. There are many methods that we've covered in class to get rid of that. Also, we've lost our rainbow. It's a sad day. In the video link that I sent out to the class, I do go over my my quickie method on how to get that back. So don't feel like there's not information out there. There most certainly is. Also, talk to Sarah Massey, because I just made a YouTube video, which will be on this same channel, on other methods of recovering that element. And then our foreground fog element, I'm just going to screen over top of everything. It's a little bit gritty, a little bit nasty, so I'm just going to kind of blur the jeepers out of it, as we say on the internets. Wonderful. Wow. So there's still a long way to go, but this is like my basic stress-free setup for just getting the elements in place. So now that we've roughed it into place, now you can begin the process of making it look good, going into each layer and grading it, making custom masks, isolating areas that need more light, less light, better shadows, maybe doing some fixing of the branches in here. They've got some ugly alpha edges. So there's a lot of work to be done still from this point, but it's a lot less stressful when you can immediately look at your whole tree and know right away, like, oh, so this is how it's working. This is how everything's working together. So, yep.